This episode is brought to you by...
Looking to escape the ordinary and explore the extraordinary? Meet Jani Kovacevic, your personal luxury travel expert. Whether you're craving an epic expedition to the Arctic, a sun-soaked, all-inclusive getaway, or a once-in-a-lifetime trip with the whole family, Jani curates every detail for a seamless, unforgettable experience.
From bucket list adventures to multi-generational family vacations, she tailors travel to your pace, your passions, and your people, with luxury every step of the way.
Don't just travel, explore in style, discover with ease, and make memories that last forever.
Call 254-721-2000 or visit travelbyjani.com and start planning your dream escape today.
They'll talk about anything and to anyone. They're straight out of the streets of Temple, Texas. It's Randomness with Heath and Josh.
All right, we're back. What's going on, Josh? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little early. We're doing it on a Saturday morning, which is weird for us. So I've already had half of a energy drink, and now I'm drinking a Coke, and I don't drink sodas. And I didn't have any coffee, but sometimes I'll drink like a coffee and an energy drink, and then my coworkers are like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "This is me. It's all right. We're gonna be okay."
I think you need some more coffee.
No,
because today is Sunday.
Yeah, I usually drink coffee, but just on the weekends, I'll have coffee. But we're out of the creamer I like, so I didn't have any coffee this morning.
And today's Sunday.
What does that have to do with it?
Because you said Saturday.
Is it? Oh, it's because okay. So it is Sunday. So
yeah,
my days are off. I took off Friday because Riker's his spring break was last week. So Friday was his last day, and I was like, well, we'll take off and do some things. So we went and did some stuff. Actually, I'll just go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah,
so we went to Meow Wolf. If you haven't been to that is friggin' awesome. I was kind of skeptical of that. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically like, I don't even know how to explain Meow Wolf. It's like a immersive museum / art / bar / go eat there / let's see, how many things can I say / to? It's also they have like a, what do you call it? Like a scavenger hunt, and inside there, and then a mystery
storyline. Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's like all this crazy art that you're inside of, if you will. When you first go into the one here in Grapevine, it looks like a house. Mm-hmm. And it's inside the mall, which is really weird. And you go in, and then anyway, it was super cool. If you've never done that, it's really worth it. You could spend hours upon hours in there if you wanted to, if you did everything that they actually have in there to do. So that was cool. So he was off, so we got to do that. And then we went to we had other plans, but because the internet went out yesterday, we weren't able to leave like we wanted to, but we ended up going to a arena football game because he had never been to one. It was horrible. So they had it in the Fair Park Coliseum here in Dallas, and that Coliseum is pretty big. I mean, like, they do rodeos and stuff in there, and I don't know how many thousand it seats, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people. There was like 100 people in there, in the whole thing. They didn't have scoreboard. They didn't have clock set countdown, like the 25-second clock. They didn't have anything. It was horrible. We left at halftime, so I felt so bad for him because he was kind of hyped up about going because he loves that stuff, and it kind of sucked. So yeah.
What is that league called? Or like
national? This one was the National Arena League, I think, and there's several different leagues. This one's been around for about 4 or 5 years, and like I was saying to you earlier, I was looking around going, I don't know who's paying for all this, because there's no way they're making any money. They're so in the hole. They're having to pay these players, all the security they're here, all these, whatever. I'm like, there are thousands upon thousands of dollars in that one game that they've got to be just losing, and I don't get how they're staying open. Somebody's funding that thing, and they better think about it.
They might as well run a podcast, right?
Right. At least you're breaking even. If you're doing something halfway right, I guess. Right. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. What you been up to, man?
Well, so last episode, I mentioned that I recently adopted a bunny rabbit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, little Duchess. She's so cute.
And what kind of rabbit? You
I think
told
it's
me a
like
while
a
ago.
lion's mane. So,
Lion's mane rabbit.
so it's got like a lot of floof around her neck.
Floof.
I'll have to post pictures on our page.
Right on.
But so what I've been doing is after work when I go out and I feed the chickens, I was like, well, I'll just bring her out here and let her run around. So the first couple of days went well. Like after it was time to go in, I could easily grab her and bring her in. Well, each day that goes by, she's being more like elusive. And so I'm having to like, get quicker at catching her. Well, yesterday took me 30 minutes. Yeah. So I had to build a corral and get her where she was cornered, and then I could finally catch her. So the thing is, she's not going outside until I could build a little pen, like a play pen, for her to go in, because she's getting smarter.
Right on. How are the chickens? How do they even notice her?
They do. They're like kind of freak out when she runs by, and yeah. So they're leery of her.
What are you gonna get next, man? That backyard's becoming a farm.
I don't know. I'd like a goat.
Dude, the goat will eat everything.
My niece raises. Well, there's nothing to eat
because the chickens have eaten
scratched it up.
But yeah, but like goats will eat like your fence. Like they'll eat everything. Like they'll eat through like your shed and stuff. They'll eat that.
Yeah,
that's how bad goats are. But yeah, I was telling Cody the other day, I was like, he's gonna have like a llama or something next back there.
That would be fun.
No
alpaca or a llama or
miniature
horse. Oh, a
miniature horse. Yeah, Cody she wants a miniature donkey so bad. I'm like, you have no idea how much money and time it's going to take care of a miniature friggin' donkey, even though they are so cute.
So what she could do is start a rescue organization, and then you have all kinds of animals.
Yeah, because we have time for that.
No, her retirement plan, right? So
retirement plan. Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, that's kind of our plan, is to, the land and have stuff or whatnot. But it's it's funny how people, they want to do that and they don't realize how much work all that is until they start it. Growing up with a ranch and a farm in my family, I know how this works. It's not as easy as you think, and the amount of money that you have to spend on these animals, not to mention
the chores,
checking on them, and all that stuff. And then when you go on vacation, guess what? Now you've got to find someone to do all that stuff while you're gone. So your vacation just ends up being always at home. You're just, the farm is it. That's where you vacation. But anyway, that's all I got going on. So what I feel like you went to a comedy thing last night.
Oh yeah. It was beers and belly laughs at the BJ's tasting room.
Our buddy Jeremiah Red, right?
2nd year anniversary for that. It was a good turnout. Funny comics. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Follow their page and go on out. It's fun and it's free. So can't beat that.
Right on. Yeah. And Jeremiah Red's a good dude. He does a lot of cool stuff and great stuff for the community. So go out and check him out.
Yeah.
Before we have our guest on real quick, I did want to mention, go to, if you're the Facebook page is called Watch Temple. It's a new page that's come out. It's ran by Jose Reyes, which we have now become buddies with, and we're going to do some collaboration with him. But go check him out. What he does is he finds things in Temple and literally live streams them. So if there's something going on, say recently there was like a wing eating contest at one of the restaurants there.
Tommy
he goes and
wingy.
live stream that. Yeah, Tommy want. He goes and does the stuff like that. So anything that there's going on in the community that he thinks worthy of streaming that people might want to actually watch, he does that. It's really neat, and it's caught on real fast, and he's already got I can't remember how many followers, but really quickly he got thousands of followers. So go check him out, and like I said, we hope to do some collaboration stuff with him soon. But yeah, so 144 episodes. I don't say it too often, but I can't say our old friend because she's not old, but to us, she's our old friend. First Coast News reporter, Sydney Dishon. How you doing, Sydney?
Hello, I'm doing fabulous. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Excellent.
good.
Welcome.
We're over here laughing and smiling because we've known Sydney for a bit, and we were just talking about how old we are and how young she is. So
yeah, I'm just a wee baby, 2001.
But to those of you who haven't heard the episode, well, there's been a few things. So gosh, how long ago was that? About a year and a half ago or so.
Yeah.
Sydney actually we went on KCEN there in Temple, and Sydney came. We actually met up at not Neighbors, Peggy's coffee house inside the
Yes,
Temple
that
Mall.
was so fun. Y'all were talking about Applebee's, how everyone went crazy.
Yeah, so she interviewed us when we were kind of not starting out, but we went going for a little bit, and then we created this little bond here where we did some stuff with the Temple High School media program and whatnot, and we're very thankful for that. And then we had her on the show. It's been over a year or so, because you went from Temple to Jacksonville. What, December of 2024? Is that when you moved there?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, wait. I'm like, wait, that's right. That's actually a long time.
Yeah, no, I only remember that because I remember thinking, why is she moving to Jacksonville at Christmas time? I bet that's going to be a kind of pain in the butt.
Oh yeah, during the holidays, in the U-Haul, my dad's driving it. All my stuff is in there. I actually have a fish too, a pet fish. So he was in Houston, the hotel. He's still alive. It was actually a gift from my KCEN coworkers, so he's thriving here. But it was a lot trying to move, that far away.
Well, I was going to say, how was the move? Was the move very hectic for you, or did you already have? I guess you went previously, found an apartment, did all that good stuff.
Yeah, the good thing is one of my coworkers who I'm really, really close with, she also lives at the same complex as me. So I kind of knew a safe place to go and where I wanted to be. So it wasn't really hard to find somewhere to live. But the process of actually moving, thousands of miles away, I was following my dad, in the U-Haul, my little Beetle, and I was falling asleep at the wheel. I was so tired. Like 4 a.m. We had to stay in a hotel and just, moving everything, that whole process. I mean, I did it in college, and then even when I went to Temple, you have to move all your stuff in, but it's really tiring, and I'm not too strong. So I'm like, Dad, you can do it all.
So how was the transition? Like when you went from KCN and Temple, you were there for a bit, I'm sure you had all these relationships and stuff. And then you go to what's First Coast News there in Jacksonville. How was the transition going into there?
Well, I will say it is like completely 180, so different. In Temple, you get to do a lot of, like fun stories. It's really exciting. You get to talk to a lot of nonprofits, more feature pieces. You get to feature people in the community who may be doing something cool. And here, I will say, especially with working the night side shift from, 2:30 to 11:30, the city just never sleeps. And there's just a lot going on here. There's a lot of, I will say there's, crime everywhere, but we get sent to a lot of scary things. And I've just been on a lot of, standoffs, shootings, stabbings. It's just a wide range of things. My first week here, they would be like, okay, Sydney, you're getting to the scene at, 5:58. We need you to go live at 6 o'clock. So I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm walking into, but it's kind of just, what do you see? What are, how many police, lights are around you, officers do you see, kind of describe, show and tell. But it was not really, I knew it was a breaking news market, but when I got here, I was like, wow, this is actually very crazy. And I wasn't expecting it to be so fast paced.
Well, that makes sense, because I always hear that Jacksonville's kind of pretty rough town. So
yeah, there's just a lot of air, and we've been having this thing, especially for spring break, the teen takeovers, where there's a bunch of teenagers who are gathering. And then, there was one at the beach where 5 people got shot. So there's just a lot of, I don't know if the parents, aren't talking to the kids and just telling them, this is the severity of, like, if you're doing something like this, the consequences can be, severe. But it's just, the city never sleeps. It's pretty crazy sometimes, I will say.
So basically, it's not Temple, Texas.
No, it's not like a small town, and that's the other thing too I miss about Temple. I would do a story, and I feel like almost every person I interview, they're like, do you want to have a little snack or a little Coke or soda?
So apparently the Florida man thing is a real thing.
Yes, it is. And I never really knew what that was. And then I got here and I'm like, oh, okay. Now I know.
uh, what? So you kind of already touched on it a little bit, but well, let's go back to this. How hard was it to leave Texas to go there?
Oh, it was really hard. I was like crying so bad on the
Oh,
last at KCN. You would have thought like I don't know, like the world was ending. I was just like tears were flooding my face, and all the people there at KCN were just amazing. All of my coworkers there. I was so blessed to have somewhere where my first job out of college was a peaceful, a safe environment, where I could, have fun and really grow as a journalist. And then also just not my coworkers, but the people in Temple. I mean, Colleen, all of the Waco, all of the surrounding areas, everybody was so, 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 so nice there. And then
Yeah.
also my family being, a drive away, my friends being a drive away. That was always nice on the weekend to, go to Houston or Dallas. But now I'm kind of just, if I'm bored or something, I just gotta, hang out by myself.
Well, I have feeling you have a friend or two there, but we'll talk about that later. When going from somewhere like Temple and going to somewhere like Jacksonville, and you say it's not as safe or whatever. How are your parents
My
about
parents,
that whole deal?
whenever they have the First Coast News app, they're always making sure they stay up to date wherever I'm at. They're like, you would think they've been here for years, for decades. They know everything happening in the city, but they'll get that push alert, and it's like, big breaking news scene in St. Johns County, and then they're like, Sydney, are you going to that? And I'm like, yeah, I am going to that. But the good thing I will say about here is you always get a second person. So I have a photographer with me almost all of the time,
Oh, that's
especially
good.
with breaking news. If we're covering something that's really big, they always send, us in pairs. So we're not by ourselves because, in Temple or a lot of small markets, you are kind of a one-man team and you're
Right.
your own photographer, you set up everything by yourself. But here, you get that extra help. So that is nice. But my parents, yeah, I feel like sometimes they worry a bit, but they know I'm safe. I always am in communication with them. I always call them after the show and update them about everything because sometimes they have questions. They're like, what the heck? How did that even happen? And it's like, well, it's Florida. I don't know.
Well, shout out the Dishons. They're so nice. I'm friends with your dad on Facebook, and every once
My
in a while.
dad listens to that first episode like every single day.
so that was episode 66. If y'all want to go back and listen.
Yeah.
When that all went down and stuff, you and your dad and I kind of texted a little bit, through Messenger or whatever. He's very sweet. He's a very nice guy.
Yes.
And he's around my age, which just makes it even even more funny. But I remember what I was going to ask you when you went to Jacksonville from Temple too. Did a lot of people from Temple follow you, like as far as social media and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
and
I
you
will
up?
say there's been a good bit, especially people who I did. Do y'all remember like the 6 fixes whenever we would come in and help with a problem and then we would solve it for them? There were some people through that who they still message me. And I still get people who are like, oh, I have a story idea for you. You covered this story with me. And I'm like, oh, I'll pass it along, but I'm not there anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, I would say there's still a lot of people from Temple, Waco, Colleen who follow me, which is nice. And they kind of keep up with the Jacksonville news, and they're just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like,
yeah, right. Oh, I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple where you'll post, and every once in a while I'll see something, and I'm like, oh god dang, it's just,
like,
well,
wow.
and then we're very being that I feel like I don't want maybe like an uncle or something to you at this point. Like, we're very fond of you. And I'm like, I hope she's okay. And then I'm like, I really want to send her dad. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to be that guy. But at the same time, it's like, we're like, I hope Sydney's cool, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of scary stuff out there, but and there's so much too in the news just with journalists. We've seen like, some people getting shot at who are in the field. And so we've kind of had to take, our own precautions and just always be alert. Make sure you have like an exit plan. You're aware of your surroundings because you just never know, especially if you're covering a protest or a rally. You just don't really know what can transpire at those events. So we always are having to just be alert and kind of one step ahead. Even if you think, you will be safer, it doesn't seem off. You just have to be alert.
All right. Do you have a Jacksonville stalker yet?
Oh my gosh. Thank God, no.
I remember we had talked about that before, and I'm like, I bet she's probably got a couple by now.
No, there was a very weird situation. It was in January, and y'all are probably going to be like, what the heck? And I get this tag on Facebook, and this guy is like, I've been talking to this girl for like years. I never knew she was a news anchor. And it's a photo of me at KCEN. And I was like, who is this man? I was like, I have no idea who this is. But I told my parents about it. And I was like, I don't know if this guy was just being a creep, but I just blocked him. But it was so weird. I was like, I don't know. You know, people just like are kind of weird on the internet sometimes. So,
well, I think too, people see you every day. It's kind of like when you watch a show, you know,
yeah,
you kind of feel like you get to know these people, but you don't, you know, obviously, but you feel like you do, especially, and I hate to say this, but people that are sitting around at home by themselves and they're lonely people.
Yeah. They don't have anyone. Yeah.
They build that relationship in their head. And then they feel like, you know, maybe, hopefully that's all it was, you know, or whatever. Yeah. But you know,
that's what my parents say. They're like, the best thing you can do is just block and, you know, just go about your day. But if it gets to something else, then we can talk about it then. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh no, this is weird. But thankfully, no, there hasn't been. I mean, there's always the creepy messages, but usually if I don't respond, it's not like they're like, boop, 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 boop.
Ready to secure your financial future? Whether retirement is near or far, it's time to take control. Talk to W. Marcus Hinn, a certified financial planner professional specializing in retirement investing and planning. Mark's goal is to help clients find peace of mind by creating customized strategies to help grow your wealth and protect investments. He'll tailor a plan to fit your unique goals, lifestyle, and dreams. Start today. Reach out to Mark and start your journey towards a confident, stress-free retirement. Find him at wmarcushenn.com. That's WMARCUSHENN.com. It's your future. Let's plan it. Securities and advisory services offered through the Strategic Financial Alliance, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
What's something you can share to us that's like maybe something really crazy or most memorable that since you've been there? There's probably so many. Hard to pick.
I was trying to think about that yesterday. Like if I had like the most wildest or crazy story, and there's just so many that we've covered, but one recently that I just remember because it happened like maybe 2 weeks ago. There was a man who was reported missing since I think it was Valentine's Day. And he was just found. He was stuck in mud and he was alive for days. And it was this quicksand kind of mud. But he was literally stuck in the mud for several days without food, without water. And the temperatures got really cold. So we got sent to this breaking news scene. And I just was like, wait, what? Like, I almost was like, not. Like I was like,
yeah, what?
Like, is this right? Are you sure? But it was true. And you know, law enforcement, they were telling us everything. They said it took hours to get him out. And I just went on air and I was like, yeah, this man, he's alive after being stuck in, you know, this mud. And they describe it like quicksand. He was literally there for, I think it was like 8 or 9 days, just stuck in the mud, and he was alive. And he's recovering. So it was a crazy story. We never got to interview him, or I didn't personally talk to family or friends, but that was one of the ones where I was like, you just don't really think about that ever happening, you know?
Yeah.
You know, when we grew up in the 80s, that was like one of our biggest fears culturally. It's like quicksand. Yeah. It's like
because all the cartoons and stuff had quicksand in them. And so we're like going outside, like, where is that stuff? You know,
right.
That's funny. What was it like in a wooded area, or was it?
It was at this this sand plant facility. So he was trespassing. He went through this, you know, gated community, and then I'm trying to remember how they saw him, but I think a coworker just maybe like noticed something, and he was like deep in the sand. Like they literally had to pull it, like he was covered. I don't know how he survived that. That was a question I had because I don't know.
Insulated by the sand? if he was insulated by the sand
For
and
the
it was cold,
temperature,
then
yeah.
for his temperature, maybe that had
Yeah, that
something
might
to do
have
with it.
helped him, but yeah, it was just such an odd story, and I guess like I always kind of heard that too. Like, we're so scared of quicksand, and I'm like, why are you scared? And then it's like, oh wait, this is why.
Yeah. You need to do a follow up with that guy. I bet
I
people
know.
would
I
want
want
to
to check
know.
in with him. I'm like, what were you like?
Yeah.
Like what transpired here? What the heck happened?
Well, and like
That was
what
crazy.
went on in his head for 8-9 days or whatever to be able, to get through all that. I mean,
Mhm.
of course, I guess he really couldn't move, therefore he's just slowly dying unless someone finds him. But wow, that's almost like a movie.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, that was pretty crazy though. I mean, honestly, every week I probably have like 3 or 4 crazy stories. A lot of them are like very like dark and disgusting, and that's also been kind of hard for me too, to come home after covering something that's very,
Yeah.
like just hard to read. We get these like really long arrest reports, and we have to go in detail and just learn the facts of what happened. We don't necessarily go on air with what exactly unfolded, but sometimes just like reading it makes me feel sick, and then I have to, just go home and I'm like, oh, I wish I could have like a fun story or something that's just a
Right.
little bit more, balances out the bad stuff. But
Yeah, I was actually going to touch on that, like your mental health while
Yeah.
doing all that. I mean, what do you do? I mean, is there something that you do, or you just got to deal with it? I don't know.
yeah,
To me, it's like you probably need to talk to somebody, or at least if you have a friend or a significant other or whatever the case may be, those type of things need to be talked
yeah, I
about.
will say, when I first moved here, Christina, my coworker, because we both work the same shift, and she's 27, so she's just a couple years older than me, but it's been really nice. After work, we'll just call each other and we'll
Right.
just be like, boom, boom, boom. And then we kind of, in the night laughing on the phone. And so it's
That's
really nice
good.
to get to talk to her. And then, I won't say, I guess it's been like a couple months, but I do have a boyfriend now. Shocker.
We knew that. We just wasn't going to bring it up unless you did.
I know. But it's been really nice too, because like he will like sometimes, make me food, and like he'll like watch a show with me, and he'll just like talk to me about my day, and he's just like lets me like rant and say everything, and he'll just listen and be like, oh my gosh, like that is crazy.
Right.
Because like most people, it's like, what do you say in that scenario?
Yeah.
So
Right.
but it's been nice to have just like people here. Like it's a small group, I will say, compared to like Temple, but my, Christina, that's her name. I love having her like so close by and at the
That's
same
good.
building. It also makes me feel safe too, because
Sure.
we just follow each other home in our
Yeah.
cars. And then it's also nice having my boyfriend too, because then it's like I can just like rant to him, and he's outside of work. So he doesn't, it's nice to have someone
Right.
outside of work who can just like empathize with
Shoot.
everything.
He'd probably ready to come, just to come hang out with you, just to hear the craziness every day. It's
I
like,
know.
what you got today?
Yeah, no, there was one time I think there was a breaking news scene, and he was like, I want to go check it out. And I was like, no. I was like, no. I was like, it's a little dangerous. There's a suspect on the loose. Like, we don't
Oh,
need,
crap.
that's a big thing too. Like sometimes these people flee on foot, and we're out reporting, and it's like,
Right.
hopefully you're not in the bushes. Like that's one of my biggest fears. I'm like, if I'm going live, I'm like,
Right.
y'all, I need to just be alert and make sure no one's out there. But
Yeah. Well, and you probably don't need the distraction of the boyfriend in the background too, going, "Hey, what's going on?"
I know.
Speaking of him, and I was going to bring this up at the end. You better be taking care of our girl, and if you're within earshot, I bet he's there.
Oh
But,
no, he's not.
he's not.
Not right now.
All right, now I was like, you better take care
Or
of.
he'll
our girl.
hear.
Don't make
He'll listen to
Texas
the episode.
Yeah, don't make Texas show up at Florida and get you now. What? So okay, this is a 2-part question. So, what do you miss the most from Texas? Don't say family, don't say friends, but stuff like that. And then, what do you really like from Florida? Like, what is one of the best, your favorite things about Florida?
One thing I miss about Texas so much, and when I was there in Dallas this past weekend, it just reminded me of how much I missed it, is the barbecue. I was like, oh my gosh, there was not a good, I don't know, it's just different. Like, there's the fish, the seafood here is really good, but the barbecue and just the mac and cheese, the mashed potatoes, it's like, oh, you just can't like get that in Florida. So I really do miss the barbecue a lot, and I'm a big food person, so that it's kind of hard. But as far as what I love about Florida the most. I really do like being so close to the beach. I'm about 25 minutes away.
I knew you were gonna say
Nice.
that.
Yeah, it's like if I could, every weekend just like lay out in the sun. The weather's kind of been iffy here. It's been honestly so cold, which is weird to me. I'm like, oh, Florida can get cold. Like I didn't sign up for that, but okay. But the beaches, and then just, for the most part, I just like the weather here. It does get really hot, but then I get really tan, and I'm like, I like to be tan, and I like to be focused. So, and in Texas, you don't really have you have Galveston, but
Yeah, it's not the same.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same. Yeah. All right. I was hoping you'd say Whataburger because that's what real Texans say.
Oh, and Whataburger. Well, we do have a Whataburger that is right by my apartment.
Nice.
We also have a Buc-ee's, which
That's right. They're expanding and stuff now.
Wow.
So.
my mom loves Buc-ee's. Whenever she was here, she was like, "Can we check out the Buc-ee's?" I'm like, "Mom."
It's the same crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna have some Florida stuff in there.
Yeah. But yeah, they're building more Buc-ee's. Oh, I do miss Cane's. Y'all
Raising
had
Cane's?
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
They just built one, but it's like 45 minutes away from my apartment. And I'm like, well, I would make the drive on a Saturday because I love the chicken that much. But
There you go.
I do miss Cane's.
If your boyfriend's never had it, there's y'all little trip. Go
date
and Raising
Yeah.
Cane's. The thing, okay, so I love Cane's too, and Riker, my son, he loves Cane's. But the only thing that I don't like about Cane's, and we're Texas, is they don't have gravy, and everybody wants gravy with their chicken strips here. So that's the only thing.
Yeah. The Whataburger gravy is pretty good there, but the cane sauce, I feel like I couldn't get it with any other sauce because the cane sauce is just chef's kiss. It's so beautiful. It's so good.
So apparently my son figured out that the Good Value Walmart version of some sauce, I'll have to send it to you, is pretty much exactly the same as the cane sauce.
Huh.
So I'll send it to you later. I have to go look it up. No, it's funny that you say barbecue too, because I'm literally, as we speak, smoking some beef short ribs. Yeah,
I'm jealous.
yeah. The barbecue is pretty hard to beat. It is, it's funny you say that. Every time I go to another state, I almost always go to a barbecue place just to try it, and it's like, what is this crap?
Yeah.
It's
just not. I don't know what it is. It's just, I feel like in Texas they just like smoke it perfectly. They just do everything right. And then here it's like, oh,
yeah.
what went wrong?
Or you'll go somewhere and like, say you're in like, this happened. I was in Denver area once, and it's like a Texas barbecue joint. So I'm like, oh, someone from Texas went there, opened them, and it's going to be what it was crap. I was like, what is this crap? This is not,
Take this name off there.
Yeah. So no, that stuff pisses me off. Did you see, Miller's Barbecue in Belton that everybody loves burned?
Oh, I did not hear about that.
Yeah, burned down like burnt the inside, burned all up.
Yeah, so it's closed right now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So everybody's all, what the heck? Can't.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to know what happened, but that's crazy.
Yeah. So what other thing I was going to ask you about Texas and Florida? Gosh dang.
What she liked most, she said the beaches.
Yeah.
Seafood.
The seafood. I'm not like a huge seafood person, but I do like salmon. I don't know why I've been starting to like that more. Oh, and then I had sushi for the first time this year, and I know, I'm lame.
I'm not a sushi guy either.
I'm like very picky about my sushi. I don't like the raw stuff. I'm like, I want it to be like extra cooked.
You want the Texas sushi. Stuff that's cooked.
The beaches. I'm trying to think. And Jacksonville's honestly like so big too. That's the other thing. Like there's so many like just little I guess places you can go within Jacksonville, like little spots. Like there's a San Marco, there's Town Center, Riverside, just like these little like hot spots of like different like shops, different places to like try things to eat, like arcades, like fun little activities. So there's just like so much to do. I just feel like I've been so I've just been so exhausted with work. I just want to rest because it's such long hours. Sometimes I don't get home until like 1:30 or 2, and it's like,
Are you still drinking soda all the time?
Oh yeah. Duh, you shouldn't have asked that. You should know the answer to that.
Well, I know you love Coca-Cola, and I was just
Yeah,
like, I
Coke,
wonder if you've
Pepsi,
kicked
Cherry
that.
Coke, all of it. I've literally gone through so many sodas. My coworkers are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Is this bad?" It's the problem. I don't
It'll
know.
catch up with you one day, girl. Go. It did to
I know.
me. Yeah.
So
Go
have you
ahead,
made
Josh.
it
My bad.
to Disney World or Universal or?
I have, and the lines, ugh, I just hate the lines. It's so long. And sometimes it's like, do you really want to, drive like 2.5, 3 hours just to, wait in like an hour and a half, 2 hours of a long line for like a 2-minute ride? But my sister and I and my boyfriend Max, we went to, it was, I can't even remember the name of it. The new, it was like the Mario Kart. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? What is it called? It's the new world that they just created.
Okay.
And
I
it
don't
was
know.
I'm trying Epic Universe maybe?
Is that Universal?
Yeah. And they had so many fun activities, and it wasn't, super long because it's a brand new park and the weather was kind of it was a little rainy that day.
Yeah.
But that one was fun. They just built a new park. And then as far as the like Disney World and all of that, it's just like the lines are sometimes too long. But I have been there. It's just sometimes I don't want to go because
Yeah.
it's too long.
I don't
What
blame you. I
about
don't.
any NASA things? Have you watched a rocket take off or?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't. That would be cool though. I know that whenever I was in Temple, there was the do y'all remember like it would shake?
SpaceX test. Yeah.
SpaceX, that's what it was. And people would, they'd be like, my window shattered. And I was like, what? Your window shattered?
Yeah.
And it was just shakes from SpaceX. So there hasn't been though anything I've seen yet like that here. But yeah.
Right on. I meant to ask this early on, and I just remembered. So when you moved, are you an evening reporter? Is that what you are for them, basically?
Yeah. So I'm usually on at, if there's like breaking news, I'll be on at 5, 6, 7, and then 11 o'clock. The 11 o'clock is like the main show that I focus on. But if there's something crazy going on, I'll be live. And, even if it's, I said 5, 6, 7, but it could be, 5, 5:15, 5:30, 6, 6:15, 6:30. If there's something really big going on, and it's not the complete opposite. Like it's not like the morning shift, but in Temple I was 9:30 to 6:30. So this shift just a couple hours back, but it's just different because now I go to bed at 4 a.m. because I get home so late, and then I need to kind of unwind, watch a show, eat a snack, and then I wake up at 11, sometimes 11:30. And then it's like I have to start finding my stories for the day, and then I go in at 2:30. So it's rough sometimes. I feel like I don't have a life outside of work during the week.
Yeah. Well, at least you have the weekends.
Yeah, I will say it's good having the weekends off because.
So thank you for being here today.
Right.
It's fun with you guys. I'm like, it doesn't even, it's a fun time. So.
Well, it's like talking to old friends back in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh dang it, I said that and then I forgot what I was going to ask you. Man, I'm doing horrible at this today. I think it's because I just feel like I know you and we're just kind of whatever, and I'm not trying to my list over here and stick to it, or whatever. But so are you gonna at some point, are you trying to transition to anchor? Is that?
I would love to anchor. It's just so difficult here because they have, the anchors who've been here for a really long time. And a lot of us reporters, we want to anchor and we want to fill in, but it's just, it's kind of hard to get those reps in. So I don't know if that's something that I will get to do here. I might get to practice on the side and, clip stuff for my reel when I do want to go on to my next job. But that would be the main goal one day, probably to do anchoring, just because, being out in the field is really exhausting. I love it, but sometimes it's just like, it's like too much. And I'm like, oh, this is really, draining and exhausting. But I would love to do anchoring, and I don't even know where I want to end up. Like I would love to be back in Dallas. But then I'm like, I kind of liked this move. Maybe I should go to another state or, another city because I'm young. I'm like, why not? It's a
Take
great
advantage
thing
of
to
that.
travel, and I don't have kids. So,
Right. Yeah, take advantage of that while you can, because you're only getting older, believe me. Yeah, but and so explain that too. I think the last time you were on, I wanted to ask you that, and I forgot to. Like when you go from a live reporter like that or whatever on site or whatever, and then you go to the anchor, what's the workload difference? Like how does that change? It's like basically already there for them, right? Because you've done all the work.
Yeah, I will say I feel like with anchoring, it's kind of it's just a little it's easier. I mean, you have basically all the scripts are, written out for you,
Right.
and you get to just, kind of tell all the stories of the day, and then you have to approve scripts, you get to look at other reporter scripts, but I feel like it's something you have to work your way up to and you have to earn, because it is a very important and crucial role for the newscast. So it's really nice, and the anchors, they've been in my shoes and they're like, Sydney, like, we get it. We know why, your script is coming in late, or like, there's these like certain like questions we have just because, you're kind of on the go going so fast. But I will say, like, I feel like it is an easier workload compared to, the everyday just boots on the ground, having to, door knock. Hey, do you know about this shooting? Did you know them? Do you have video of it? Would you talk with us on camera? And they're in their pajamas. Like, what the heck?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you. And it's just like having to literally go down every single house on the street. You feel like a salesperson sometimes. But I remember too, I always like think of it like, I'm just like them. I'm a neighbor too. I'm a person who lives in Jacksonville too. And
Yeah.
I'm just like them. So I'm not like, some news reporter who's there to just get the story. Like, I try to remember, like, these are my neighbors, the people who I live around. And so I feel like that too kind of helps me whenever I talk to people. And a lot of time they are open to talking, because I'm not like, some reporters who are like, I need the scoop, give me the details. And it's
Yeah.
just like, no, like, you don't need to be like nasty or, that way
Well,
about it. But
you're too nice for that anyway, so that would never happen.
yeah, it can be a good thing and a bad thing. My parents always tell me, like, you need to be mean more. And I'm like, I
Well,
don't know how to be mean.
well, that's the thing. I think I've said that to you before. I'm like, I
I
worry
think
about
y'all
you
did
sometimes
too.
because you're so nice, and then
I
it's
know.
it's great because you're so likable and you're great, and all that. But I'm just like, girl, you better toughen up. It's gonna get you one day,
I know. I need to learn how to like do a little punch if somebody comes up to me.
That's funny. If so, you said Dallas is where you'd like to go, and that's what you've said before. But would you like to do something bigger, like go to Today Show type thing? Because I see that. I mean, you're so good, and you're
I
so
would
young, and you're
love
so
that.
good.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. I would like to focus more on like, the kind of like the positive feel good stories, like the fun stories. I think this year, or no, it was last year. I got to interview this lady. I think she was maybe in her 80s, and it was like her 100th marathon in Jacksonville. And that was just so fun for me interviewing her. So if I got to do more stuff like that, like, whenever it's the morning and it's like, oh, this is a fun story, and, Sydney got to interview them. And so I think that would be great. But I don't think I could do any of the other like network, like all the political stuff, and just
Yeah.
that's like too. I'm like,
I get it. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with that too. I was
yeah.
going to ask you this, and I just thought of it too. Do you still have the orange dress? Because every time I see you or we're around
Oh
you,
my
you're wearing that
god,
orange dress.
I do. I'm like, wait, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, it's somewhere, but I haven't worn it in a while. I'm like, it might be in my dirty
Because
clothes.
it was so funny.
Like,
Like, I think we've been around each other 3 times physically. Like, we've been, in the same room together, and you've wore the orange dress every time. And you made
I
that joke, and
know.
you're all, I think I've wore this orange dress around y'all every time.
Yes, I know. That's the other thing too with like our wardrobe and stuff. I feel like I could have made this up in my head, but I feel like someone said you have to wear, like, you can't rewear things within like 5 months. Like, you need to have like a different like
Good
version
God.
of it. But I cannot stick to that. Like, I'm like, live by myself. I pay for my own bills.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to like, I can't have a million dresses, so I just have like the same like 15,
Yeah.
16. I have like some tops and pants, but no, it's rough. Like, I don't know how people stick to that, because that's crazy.
Yeah. You know what's funny is there's I guess there's certain wear that's appropriate for on air and not. And so I've seen these reels where it's meteorologists who are in different markets, but they have the same outfits.
Yeah. The same outfits.
And it just because they're, it's like this is great for, reporting the
Green
weather,
screen.
but it's just like ironic that they're all wearing this kind of the same outfit and stuff. So
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing too. A lot of us have the same dresses. Like, you go on Amazon, it's $20, and then I'm like, oh wait, that other reporter's wearing the same thing as me.
Right.
It's awkward, but
Right.
that's the business.
but yeah,
That's
to build
funny.
up that wardrobe, you need something that's affordable, right? So
Yeah. Yep.
Are you getting recognized out and about yet?
Yeah, sometimes it's definitely not as much as Temple, because I feel like, I don't know, people tune into the news a lot here, but I will say it hasn't happened like too much. There was one time Christina and I were we were getting brunch and we were walking and we were at the beach, and this man rolled down his window and he was like, "Y'all ladies are even more beautiful in person," and then he just drove off, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I've been bringing this up several times lately, and I have a thing with when men calling women beautiful, and if that's offending or not.
No, I think beautiful is great to say, but I think there's other words like,
Sure.
I think beautiful, or like, I think that's like a good word to use, but I feel like I don't know, because sometimes it can be creepy. So I don't know.
Sure.
I guess it just depends, but I feel like the whistling and like the, "Oh, you look hot." It's like, no.
Obviously,
Get
yeah.
pepper sprayed. Bye.
Right. But okay, so so let's put you in a scenario. If someone that you work with at work, that's a man that maybe you don't know very well, but you know him, and he comes in and says, "Hey, Sydney, you look great today," or whatever, is that offending?
No, I wouldn't. I would be like, "That's very
Okay.
kind. Thank you." But
And
some people might take it the wrong. I don't.
yeah, yeah, it's one of those things that it drives me nuts because I like to say things to people. Hey, you look good today. Oh, your kid's so cute. One
Yes.
of those things, and you can't because people they take it the wrong way. Oh, he's a pedophile. Oh, he's this, and it's like, no, I'm just a nice person.
Yeah,
And
I think people take things the wrong way, or they're just mad in life and they just can't, take a simple compliment. But I think, yeah, if someone just compliment, that would be weird to, I feel like, blow up if someone's just like, "Oh, you look good today," or like, "You look great," and they're like not being creepy about it,
Yeah. Okay. All right. We've asked several people after the last, I don't know, probably 20 episodes or so every once in a while. And so I just wanted to see what your take was on that, because it drives me crazy that people there's a story where this guy got fired for telling his coworker that, "Oh, you look great today." And she didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah. She didn't like
Wow.
it. And he got fired for telling her she looked nice. And I'm like, did he say it like, "Ooh, you look nice today"? I mean, we don't know, but still,
Yeah,
it's
but to
like,
be fired for that, I'm like, I
give
wonder
the
if there was like more, or like that just seems,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the story went as it was, where it wasn't something that was something he'd never really said anything to her before. He wasn't the creepy guy
Wow.
and all this stuff. And he said it. And then she went to HR and they just let him go, opposed to, "Hey, let's talk about this. Let's don't do it again. Give this guy and it's like, what? Anyway, it's one of those
Wow.
things that eats at me. But
Yeah. No, that would be so unfortunate too if that's really all that happened. Just, a simple
yeah.
compliment, and then it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when are you coming back to Texas again?
I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. My dad, he is having a birthday party cruise extravaganza in
Oh,
September.
nice.
So I'll see my family then. But I was in Texas just this past weekend because it was one of my close friends and my boyfriend's birthday. They had like a joint birthday,
Nice.
and that was interesting. Just, all my friends, and then him with all the girls, just like.
Well, the reason I asked that is because now, how often do your family come see you? Are they driving you crazy?
Yeah, they definitely they came, I think, like 3 or 4 times last year, and I know even for Christmas I had to work, and my parents were like, "Well, we still want to come up just to like at least make sure we
That's
can
good.
be with you for a little bit." So they ended up coming, I think, the weekend before, and they gave me presents, and we just kind of hung out in my little apartment. But I don't know when I'm going to Texas next. I feel like there's something with my little sister because she always has something, but it's a quick flight away, just an hour, I think, in 45 minutes. So it's not too bad, but.
Right. Well, the reason I was saying that is it's like, I know when you come to Dallas, a couple times we've said, "Hey, we need to meet up," but I know it's because it's like you're there, you do what you got to do with your friends, your family, and you got to get back. But one day,
and it's always like so quick. And I shouldn't have done
Right.
this last trip. It was just like a day trip, and then my flight was delayed there, and so by like 4 or 5 hours, and it was not. Yeah, I was like, I need to just like actually take more time off, but I'm so just like oh, I want to make sure I save my days, because
Sure.
we don't get a certain amount of PTO. So
Yeah, right on. Okay. Well, if somebody wants to go see Sydney Dishon, where do we go?
you can get the First Coast News app. It's streaming for free on Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick. I'm trying to remember. There's like an app. I'm like, wait, what's the ad again? But no, there's like an app you can get. It's called First Coast News. And you can just put it on your Roku TV. You can also get it on your phone. Kind of similar to KCEN. It's the same company. And then you can just literally watch, the 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. If you get up early, there's the morning show. If y'all get up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Y'all are like, oh.
Yeah, I got to work by 6.
Well, yeah, he does, but we're not so old that we wake up at 4 to have, just because we can't go back to sleep anymore. Well, maybe, every once in a while. But anyway.
You're like, actually, wait, yeah.
I sleep like a baby.
Yeah. But thank you for coming on again and catching up with us.
You.
We really, really appreciate it. And we appreciate you getting up on a day that you're off and spending time with us. I know your time is probably precious. I'm sure your boyfriend's like, what? Come on now. We got stuff to do. But tell Max, yeah. Max is what you said his name, Max, right?
Yes, his name's Max. Max coughing. Let me give you all his information.
Well, you make sure you tell him that we're keeping an eye on old Max. He better take care of our girl because he don't want Texas to show up.
Yeah. He actually met my dad too, which really quick, funny story. I'll make this really quick.
No, you're fine.
He almost pooped his pants in front of my family.
like you just ate something and had to go, or
he was so nervous. He had I think 8 shots of espresso, and we literally. My dad had to pull over at a freaking hotel, and literally, I felt so bad for him. He was texting me I'm so embarrassed. He's on the toilet.
Oh my gosh,
that's hilarious. That's great.
My dad was like, "It's okay. It's fine. It happens to the best of us." I'm like, "Does it?" I don't. Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, that was so funny." But
hilarious.
Yeah, he's a great person. So
poor Max. First time he gets mentioned on a show, it's him pooping. And sorry, I'm not editing that out. I'm not editing that out. That's going in, Max.
Oh my god.
She's rethinking it now.
She's like, oops.
I'm literally crying. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I can't.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go friend him and give him crap. Pun intended.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he might give you some. So be careful.
I'll have to give him. What's your dad's name? Kenny? Is that his name?
Kenny, yeah.
I'll have to give old Kenny a call. I want to hear his perspective on this. All right. Again, Sydney, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad we could leave on a laugh. You know what? Your next move, we'll be there right there with you because we're following you, and we look forward to having you on again. Thank you again so much for coming and spending time with us.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, go to randomness.podcast.com, and we are now doing videos, so make sure to go to our YouTube channel too. It's also linked on Facebook and Instagram and our website and everything else, so go check it out. And we will catch you guys next time.
Thank y'all.
We are gone.